After World War II, a power struggle developed between the United States and the Soviet Union called the Cold War. After becoming president in 1946, Harry S. Truman introduced the Truman Doctrine, the cornerstone of a larger policy called containment. This arose out of a Red Scare in the United States. Containment provided that while the United States would not instigate a war with the Soviet Union, it would come to the defense of countries in danger of Soviet takeover. The policy aimed to check further Soviet expansion and encourage the Soviets to abandon its aggressive strategies. The Marshall Plan sent more than $12 billion to Europe to help rebuild its citizen economy, in return to become an American ally. The United States also formed a mutual defense alliance called the North Atlantic Treaty Organization in 1949. The conflict with communists resurrected anti-communist paranoia at home. Senator Joseph McCarthy rose to fame when he claimed that 200 known communists worked for the State Department. After attacking the military, the public turned its back on him. The Korean War was a proxy war between the United States and the Soviet Union, where the U.S. Commander Douglas MacArthur publicly criticized Truman. Dwight D. Eisenhower then became president, seeking to implement new initiatives to improve the conformity of the times. Eisenhower had the interstate highway system created, not only speeding up travel but promoting tourism as well. Not to be outdone by the Soviet Sputnik, the United States initiated its own space program called the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. John F. Kennedy's short term as president dealt mostly with Cold War concerns. The CIA in the Bay of Pigs invasion attempted to invade Cuba with its Cuban exiles. It unfortunately failed, diminishing America's stature with its allies. In 1962, the Soviet Union and the U.S. came the closest to military confrontation when it was discovered that the USSR put missile sites in Cuba. A final agreement was eventually made, quelling the buildup of war. Rosa Parks began a successful civil rights run as she refused to give her seat on a bus to a white man as required by the Jim Crow laws. She sparked the Montgomery bus boycott, raising the prominence of Martin Luther King Jr. King encouraged peaceful protests such as those conducted by the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. King also led the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which staged other sit-ins as well. King, however, is most known for his I Have a Dream speech of 1963, shown here. The Civil Rights Act was passed in 1964 thanks to heavy lobbying by President Lyndon Johnson. Although the Ku Klux Klan still suppressed the African Americans, those affected took to other means, some following the great Malcolm X. Malcolm X was known for promoting the more separatist radical program of Black Power. Either way, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission was also established to enforce the employment clause of the Civil Rights Act. During Johnson's second term, he signed the Voting Rights Act, cracking down on states that denied blacks the right to vote. During Johnson's social agenda, Chief Justice Earl Warren worked to enforce voting rights for blacks and force states to redraw congressional districts to better represent minorities. Also around this time, the Gideon v. Wainwright case ruled that a defendant must be provided a lawyer for free if or she cannot pay for one. Additionally, in the Miranda case, the court ruled that upon arrest, a suspect must be advised his or her rights. In retrospect, the civil rights movement achieved its goals. During Johnson's presidency, a feminine movement also took wind. Betty Friedan openly challenged many people's assumptions about women's place in society. In 1966, the National Organization for Women formed to fight for legislative changes. The feminine movement also fought for control of reproductive rights in the Supreme Court case of Roe v. Wade. The Vietnam conflict was a strange war, for the soldiers were in an unfamiliar scene. By the Tet Offensive, it was thought that the war was winnable. However, out of the Vietnam conflict came a few liberties and restrictions for the president. Using a battle at the Gulf of Tonkin as a result, the Tonkin Gulf Resolution allowed the president to take any measures he deemed necessary to protect American interests in the region. Years later, Congress passed the War Powers Resolution in 1973, preventing any future president from involving the military in another Vietnam-type situation. Soon after the conflict, Nixon was involved with the Watergate scandal and was forced to resign.
I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow. Vice President Ford will be sworn in as president at that hour in this.
Ford became president after Nixon's resignation, best known for pardoning Nixon. Ronald Reagan achieved his greatest successes in U.S.-Soviet relations.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Never! As America continues to grow and expand, so does the world. In times of trouble and frustration, we shall take these sage words and remember that the past cannot change, but the future can.
Time, give me space. Give me real, don't give me fake. Give me strength, reserve, control. Give me heart and give me soul.